bit of summer, don't we? 22 minutes past 5. Climate actually has been very much in the news this week. A major UN scientific report said human activity is changing the climate in unprecedented and sometimes irreversible ways, with a landmark study warning of increasing extreme heat waves, droughts and flooding, and a key temperature limit being broken in just over a decade. UN Secretary-General Antonio Guterres even went as far as to say the Intergovernmental Panel on Climate Change report is a code red for humanity. So what can be done in this fight against climate change? The government has launched a new £5 million research programme, which it says is designed to help the UK adapt and become more resilient to the impacts of climate change. And Plymouth Marine Laboratory is one of the organisations which is part of the programme. Dr. Lee Demora is a marine ecosystem modeller at the laboratory and was also a contributing author to the IPCC report. I'm so pleased to say that Lee is with us now. Thanks for joining us tonight.
Thanks for having me.
Can I just ask which bit of the report you actually worked on?
Yeah, so my role is a marine ecosystem modeler, so I make simulations of the marine climate and sort of the weather in the oceans. My role in the assessment report was I had a very small role. I was just one of hundreds of climate scientists from around the world, and I did analysis of marine models in the historical period, so looking at how the models behaved in between the year 1850 and 2015.
And what did you find?
Well, there was, we're definitely seeing in the marine environment especially, we're seeing, just like on land, we're seeing an increase in the number of extreme events. We saw that there was going to be enhanced warming, especially in the surface layers of the ocean, and there would be an increase in acidification. And this goes also in our projections of the future as well. In all future scenarios, we see warming, enhanced acidification, and even changes in the circulation of the marine currents.
So this climate change really is, according to your work, affecting our marine environment and the wildlife within it?
Yes, absolutely. Yeah, it's just like on land, when we have a heat wave, it can be quite stressful for the plants and animals that live in it. And so in the ocean, the enhanced heat can mean that certain parts of the wildlife become uncomfortable and stressed and unable to survive in environments in extreme cases.
We've seen, haven't we, some animals, marine animals, being found in unusual places at certain times of the year. And are we getting a sense then that there is a loss of those animals as well?
Well, yeah, absolutely. Because if an animal is well suited to live in a particular region, and then the temperature in that region changes, then they need to go find somewhere that's cooler. But there's only so far north you can go before you run out of coastline.
Yeah. Is it too late then, Lee, to make a change?
No, I think that the cause of the global warming is carbon in the atmosphere, and that comes from carbon emissions. But there's still scope for optimism within human activities. So what I like to think of is, for instance, in 2012, 40% of the UK's energy budget came from coal, but in 2020 it was only 1.8%. So, we've already made a huge effort to reduce the carbon load of our electricity grid. And, similarly, solar power right now is the cheapest source of electricity in history. In the UK this year, there's 500,000 electric cars on the roads now, and 15% of all new cars are growing. Our electric cars,
Yes. Yeah.
And similarly, even here in Plymouth, we have an electric ferry boat with the Mountbatten Ferry. So we're definitely already making progress, and I think there is scope for optimism. But in order to avoid the worst future scenarios, we really need to, go all in on renewables and carbon reduction.
Well, within a few minutes, I think we can only scratch the surface of this conversation. So much great work being done. Thank you so much, Lee, for joining us today and explaining your role there.
Thank you.
Thank you. Dr. Lee Demora, who is from Plymouth Marine Laboratory.